Hello, my name is Chrissy Hodges. Thank you so much for being here at my YouTube channel, Pure O Chrissy. I am an advocate for OCD, in particular Pure OCD. I'm also the author of Pure OCD, and I am a certified peer support specialist working to support people worldwide, also helping with referral consultations. If you're looking for therapists, we can help you find therapists anywhere in the world. And the co-founder of OCD Peers. This is a group practice that we run. We run groups every single day except for Saturday, and we try to keep time zones in mind as well to try to accommodate anywhere in the world. If you're looking for therapy in the States and right now in the UK or Australia, NOCD is an app, but it also offers telehealth to do ERP. So they are expanding and doing everything they can to broaden internationally. But right now they're at in the States, in Australia, and in the UK. Now they are continuing to expand. So if you watch this video now, and in a month they might be in a different country. So if you want to know more, treatmyocd.com, or if you check out underneath in the description, I'll have a link that can take you right to getting an assessment. So thanks for being here so much. It's so good to hang out with you. It's Friday night here right now, and this is the last thing I'm doing before kicking off my shoes and relaxing for the evening. So I wanted to do a video, and I have so many topics rolling around in my head. I want to do one on acceptance, and then that I felt like was really heavy for tonight. And then I definitely want to visit one on the groinal and urges and things like that. But that also felt a little heavy. So earlier today, I thought, well, why don't I just do a video, and I'm going to pull up some common questions that I get from people. So that way I can be able to reference you to this video if you're emailing and asking questions. And also it will be on my website. My new website's coming out really soon. I'm really excited about it. My husband is a web designer, and so he's creating it, and a lot of really exciting changes coming soon. So I thought I would just talk to you about some of the common questions that I get in general as someone with OCD, and that I get over email, that I get all the time when I'm doing live videos on Instagram or on Mental Health on the Mighty and on Facebook. Follow me on Instagram, by the way, at Pure O Chrissy. I post a lot of content for OCD. So I'm gonna do like 5 or 6. And then I might just do this every once in a while. And by the way, I hope you enjoyed the video with me and my husband. We're definitely going to try to do that once a month. It was so fun. We'll try to be a little more organized next time. Okay. OCD. Okay. Big question. Is there a cure? No, there's no cure. And this is a very hard answer. No, just straight no, because don't we want one? Like, don't we want to believe there is a cure out there? And that, and in fact, that's probably part of the problem when you find out that you do have OCD, usually on the web. You find out you're on the web, by searching on the web that you find out. And then the next question is, okay, how do I cure it? Well, there is no cure. So I usually like to use this example the most. It is, it's not the equivalent, but very similar if you find out that you have type 1 diabetes. Okay, so you can't reverse type 1 of diabetes. It is just a malfunction of the pancreas, right? So people want to know the cure, but there is no cure. But there's all kinds of research and all kinds of things that you can do inside of living with a malfunctioning pancreas to live your best life. And yeah, some of those things are a pain in the ass, and you don't want to do them, right? You just want to live a life without a messed up pancreas, but that's just not the reality. So you may have to get a pump, or you may have to take your blood every day, or you may have to change your diet and exercise. And that is how you manage diabetes type 1. That is exactly what it is like to live with OCD. We have a malfunctioned brain. You can't reverse it. We can't reverse it. And so what we do is we have to work inside of knowing that, even though there is nothing that I want more than to be able to will my brain to stop what it's doing. I can't. And so what we know is the best thing up to this point is exposure response prevention, which is behavioral therapy. which teaches you to respond behaviorally different to the thoughts and the anxiety that you get from them. And when you learn how to respond differently and you practice and you practice and you practice, it lowers the distress, making the thoughts irrelevant. So that's what we know up to this point. Some good resources for that, for some information on that and how that works, definitely go to ocdonline.com. That's Phillipson's website. He's got tons of information. His article choice is amazing. He's got it in audio too, because it's 48 pages. If you're looking for information about how to stop ruminating, drmichaeljgreenberg.com. He's got great articles as well. I just did an Instagram live with him. He's coming out with a lot more really soon. Okay, this is a big one. Do you still have intrusive thoughts? Okay, so if you know anything about me and you've been following me, you know that probably like the big one that I had. I've had a lot: religious scrupulosity, fear of vomiting, POCD in my adult life, ROCD, all kinds of stuff. But the real big one that really impacted me when I didn't know it was OCD and I lived with it for the 6 years, having no idea what was going on, was sexual orientation OCD. So I identify as straight, and I had intrusive thoughts about, am I gay? Am I straight? Am I gay? Am I straight? And so people ask me all the time, well, do you still have those thoughts? My answer, again, you're going to hate. Sorry. But yes, I still have intrusive thoughts. Now, depending on where you're going on the World Wide Web, you might hear people that have OCD who are now advocating, saying, I don't have intrusive thoughts. And you know what? Good on them. I think that's awesome. I don't know how that they're superhuman and they don't have intrusive thoughts. Because I've never met a person in my damn life, OCD or not, that doesn't have thoughts they don't want. But whatever. So yes, we are always going to have, if we take OCD and put it over to the side, right? We're going to have intrusive thoughts anyway. You're having intrusive thoughts regardless of what your, excuse me, regardless of what your theme is. You're having intrusive thoughts anyway. You just don't identify them as intrusive thoughts because it's not latching on. The amygdala is not reacting to it. You're not doing compulsions, and now you're not in the cycle. So yes. Now, am I more aware when those intrusive thoughts happen? Yes. I am 44 years old, which you probably could have told. You can tell, like, in the last 5 or 6 years of the video, like the aging process. Anyway, so it has been years, 22 years since I've gotten therapy. So I've gotten really good at being able to recognize when I have sexual orientation OCD thoughts. There they are. Okay, I get it. All right. I know exactly what to do, how not to react to them. So do the thoughts bother me? I don't love them, but no, they don't. Do I have other intrusive thoughts that sometimes OCD latches onto? Yes. And I make that clear, not to not give you hope, but to give you a realistic view of what it is like to live with OCD. Some people might go for years and not have thoughts that latch on and that, are at the forefront of your brain and are, really causing distress. And some people, get treatment and they keep working on things and they have the thoughts every day, and they may have a little anxiety. They may have a lot of anxiety at times. And that's how they manage OCD. The point is, every single story of recovery is different because you're different. I'm different. I have different childhood trauma. I have different experiences I've had. I struggle with substance use as well. That makes an impact. I struggle with low self-esteem. I know a lot of us do with OCD too, so that makes an impact too. There's so many variables that make recovery different for everyone and are also going to pave the way for us to have a lot of intrusive thoughts. What I want to tell you is this. I don't want you to be afraid when I tell you, yes, you're going to continue to have intrusive thoughts, because everybody does, and you're having them anyway that aren't even related to OCD, and you're just not aware of them because you're so hyper-focused on the theme. It is possible to live within the confines of having intrusive thoughts and live a really wonderful, great life. Okay. Oh, great question. How do you know it's the groinal and not real arousal? And then the attached question to that is, which comes first, the thought or the groinal? Right? Which came first, the chicken or the egg? Okay, first of all, oh God, how do I answer this question without giving you reassurance? I mean, a lot of times you'll hear people saying the groinal is arousal, right? And then you'll get triggered as hell and you'll be like, what? Oh my God, that means that I'm having the groinal to like my parents and that means I'm attracted to them. No. But it is a response that we are perpetuating by continuing to check. Like, we're doing it subconsciously, we're doing it consciously. You know what I mean? And so if I say this all the time, and this is a stupid example, but I'm just going to say it, is that if you saw something on TV that said, if your left palm itches, for more than an hour a day, that means you have cancer. I mean, if you latched onto that shit, your left palm would be itching like crazy all day and you would be like, I have cancer, I know it, right? So when we're placing emphasis on something and not wanting something to happen, or checking to see if it happens, boom, groinal, right? So if we sit there and I guess the great answer to that question is this: if we try to decipher, is the groinal arousal or is it the groinal? You lose. There's no answer to that, right? Because once you start down the path of, is this the groinal or not? Then you've already lost the battle because you're already in the argument where there's no answer. Now, the only thing I can go off of is my own experience. The groinal now has almost become reassurance, which is sad. And you might be like, oh, that would be great. It's not. I mean, because then I'm like, wait a minute. It almost is like the double back door that comes back in. But for me, it's okay. We'll head back to before I had the diagnosis of OCD. And I was having the groinal syndrome and didn't know what it was. At that point, I was not really sexually active. I'd make out with people and stuff, but I had religious scrupulosity and I was like, sex is a sin. I don't think that now. But then I did. And I was scared all the time. But I would make out and I did feel arousal. And when I had it, the groinal, I think what was so hard and so scary for me was that it was like having the groinal 10 times what arousal would normally feel like. And if you've watched my videos, you know this. And so I'm just repeating, what I've said before, but it would just feel almost painful sometimes. Or it would almost feel so arousing that it's like, oh my God, am I going to have an orgasm standing right here in line at the DMV because I just saw this person and I'm worried I'm attracted to them? So there's no predicting the groinal. There you go. Like, you can't tame the groinal. It just is. It sucks. I don't even know how to answer the question. You know what? How do you know it's the groinal and not real arousal? I don't know, because it sucks so bad. And real arousal doesn't suck, but the groinal does. There's your answer. Because it sucks. Which comes first, the groinal or the thought? You are not going to figure this out. I had a client once tell me, and I love this, and if he's watching this, he's going to know. He told me years and years and years ago that like something in his head like fused to something. He used the word fused, and I loved it. It was such a good example of like, when I see this, it fused, and then I got the groinal. So now every time I see this TV show or I see this or whatever, it fuses. So I could hear a song, y'all, from like 1997, like Keith Sweat. If y'all don't know who he is and you like R&B, you need to go look up Keith Sweat, because he is the godfather of R&B. God, I'm probably gonna get bad comments for that because of arguments of who's the godfather of R&B. Well, Keith Sweat's up there. Anyway, like there are songs of his that I will hear and I get the groinal. I'm like in the car in 2021 and I hear the song and I'm like, what? So I have to remember that it's fused at times. It has nothing to do with anything other than that relation to the memory. I'm really sorry if you hear a loud noise, but I live by train tracks and I forgot to shut the window. And so now there's this horrible train going by, and if it gets worse, I'll just get up really quick and close the window and you can enjoy all my artwork back there. Okay. I can't read my own hand. Will my libido come back if I've lost it? I'm gonna just shut the window. I want you to enjoy this beautiful artwork back here. Yay! Oh look, y'all never see this, but that is a picture of a half grapefruit. Okay. Whew, that was loud. Sorry about that. Okay. Will my libido ever come back? Okay, so I've talked about this before too, and I'll talk about it again. When you are experiencing OCD, sexual intrusive thoughts, violent intrusive thoughts, whatever it is, when you're experiencing really huge symptoms, you're probably gonna have some disruption in your sex life. I mean, hello, especially if it's sexual intrusive thoughts. You don't wanna have sex because what if a image of a kid pops up mid-orgasm, or your friend or your family, for God's sake, and you don't want to do that. And so then you start avoiding it, and then you start worrying you're avoiding it because that must mean something and this and that. But in general, I talk about this too, like when you're sick and symptoms of an illness, you don't usually want to have sex. I mean, maybe you do, but like if you're sick in symptoms with OCD, first of all, it's okay to recognize you might be in symptoms and that you might be sick in symptoms. Okay, that's not a downfall. It's not a character flaw. It just is. We have an illness, y'all. Like this is it. This is how it is. And sometimes symptoms get really bad. And sometimes you get the flu or a bad cold, or the stomach flu, for God's sake. You definitely don't want to be given blowjobs. The stomach, right? But anyway, like your libido goes when you're sick. Of course it's going to go with OCD when you're sick. And I hate to say that because I know a lot of people are frantic and want to just identify positively, or I don't want to look at this as a mental illness. Well, you know what? I'm sorry you don't want to, but you have a mental illness. Like the end. The end. I don't know how else to say it. And I don't want to offend anybody, but it's kind of like, denial's real. And that's what this is. So yes, your libido can go. Your libido can come back too. You can get treatment, you can get help, you can get therapy, and it can be okay. And you can explore your sexuality, or your sexual life. Sorry, that probably triggered you if you have sexual orientation OCD. I did not mean that. Oh my God, sorry. But you can do that too. Okay, you can do that, but I didn't want to trigger anybody with sexual orientation. You can explore your sexual life, and grow in that and have a wonderful sex life, even with OCD. So I guess I'm reassuring you. Okay. And anyway, okay. Okay. So how do I tell my family? How do I tell my family? How do I tell my friends? How do I tell my partner? How do I tell my spouse? When you're ready. The how to equates to when are you ready? You don't need, unless you are in an emergency situation and you need to get help and you are suicidal and you need someone to help you immediately get you to help, you don't have to tell anybody. You're here. So I'm telling you that you can tell someone who has OCD, like our peer support specialist in my practice. You can come to an OCD peers group. There's InOCD, the app where you can go and find people. There's different forums. There's different Instagram accounts like mine. You can see community there. You can see community here in the YouTube channel. You can talk to all those people. You don't ever have to tell anybody. I know that you might be thinking about confession and being like, well, I need to tell people because they don't know who I really am. And am I really not revealing my true self? Your true self what? That you have OCD? Or are you equating your themes as being your true self? Because that's not your true self. Those are themes. They are intrusive thoughts. They have nothing to do with you. If you're making those about you and thinking you need to tell your family, that's not a good enough reason at all, right? I encourage people, if they really need the support, if they know it's going to be healthy support, not toxic support. I think I've done a video on this. I probably should do another one. If it's going to be healthy support, yes, but you don't have to tell people your themes. Give them websites, give them information, some resources, madeofmillions.com, ocdbaltimore.com, ocdla.com. Print out some stuff from there. Show your loved ones. Have them read it. Read it with them. And it doesn't have to be on your theme. You can just talk to them about what OCD is. You think you're struggling with that? You're going to start looking for help. You're not comfortable telling them your themes. Or make up a thing, for God's sake. You know what I mean? Like, I just promoted lying. But I mean, all of us have had somewhat multiple themes. You can always elaborate on one, like, oh, I was afraid of peanut butter once. I don't know. Anyway, anything, if you're not ready, don't. Now, here's my rule of thumb. If you've watched my videos, you know this. Do not share anything with people you're not willing to hear negative feedback about. Not therapists, OCD specialists. Please share everything with them so they can create a hierarchy and they can design your exposures. Other people, they don't need to know. It's your story to tell. Create a community on your own. Come to the YouTube channel, come to groups, go to different, social media platforms, get some support as long as it's healthy. If it's becoming toxic, no. But talk to people who get it. You are not misunderstood because you're not telling people what your themes are. You never have to tell people if you don't want, because it's your story to tell. Okay, lastly, no, I have two more. One, should I take medication? I can't answer these questions. So I'm a certified peer support specialist, but I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm not qualified to answer medication questions. And I know a lot of people write me asking that. So all I can say is this. Please consult with your therapist. Have them assess you to see if medication is a possibility, or your psychiatrist to see. I really, really cannot give advice, suggestions, anything on medication, because all of us are different. Some people don't want to be on it. Some people do. That's fine. Some medications benefit and others don't. So and all I know is my lived experience. And so I'm not qualified to answer that question. Last question. Will I and can I get my life back? Can you get your life back before OCD? No, because you will never be the same. Now, you may hear that and panic or hate me or throw your phone across the room or throw a tomato at my face. That's fine. I'm operating on this question at literally, will I get my life back? No, because OCD changes you, because trauma changes you. These experiences they change your worldview. They change who you are inside. They change how you relate to the world and how the world relates to you, whether that's good or bad. So you will never be the person that you were before OCD came into the picture. That is grieve worthy, by the way. You are well within your bounds to grieve that. To grieve the innocence, to grieve what life was like when it felt carefree, or what you have to deal with now that it showed up. Now, can you have a rich, full life with OCD? Yes. You don't have to go back to have that. You go forward to have that. All of us in life deal with this kind of stuff. We just happen to deal with it on the mental level that unfortunately we really don't have a means of escape when it hits. It's there. You don't put your feet up at the end of the day and be like, let's turn OCD off. Boom. This is it. This is what we're dealing with. And this is why you're here, right? You can live a full, rich, wonderful, productive life. A lot of that is just getting to a point where you see that you are deserving of that, even though you have this, even though you have excruciating thoughts and images and things that you think make you unworthy and undeserving. A lot of the obstacles and hurdles into that great life is that. I don't deserve it now. I'm mentally ill. I'm broken. I'm damaged goods. What kind of person has those kind of thoughts and then is able to just have a good life, etc., etc. You are. And you can. So if that's the barrier you're up against right now and you're beating your head up against it, just hang tight. That's a plateau that maybe you just need to sit and rest for a little while. Muster up the courage, muster up the self-love, self-compassion, the idea that you deserve and you are worthy of a good life, no matter what your OCD experience has been like. How do I know that there's hope? Because you're here. Because you've made it 26 minutes into a video, right? That's how I know. Because you're still here. You're still listening. Because you want hope, right? You want it. So I'm here to tell you, you deserve it. And you are worthy. And you wouldn't be here if you didn't deep down know and believe that. I am going to hold that hope for you today. So thank you for being here, y'all. I hope this was helpful. I plan on doing a video a little bit on a deeper subject next week, but this was fun to be able to answer a few of your questions. And I hope if these things have been lingering in your mind that it helped you as well. Again, if you're looking for peer support or referral consultation, chrissyhodges.com. Email me, my assistant, who's also my sister. We'll email you back and we'll figure something out from there. Groups, ocdpeers.com. Go there, click on sign up for a group, and you'll see all of our times. And if you're looking for therapy in the States, UK, or Australia, treatmyocd.com or check out the link below. I appreciate you. I'm so glad that you're here, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Bye.